Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Hello everyone, this is Carrie with Unicorn Company, and we are going to be taking a look at some terrain today. Now, specifically, this is the area of operations terrain produced by Death Ray Designs. They came out with this recently, and I agreed to go ahead and go over the terrain, give it a fair shake, and do a review of everything. And they sent all this to me. Thank you very much to Justin at DRD. Just scroll that up a little bit. There we go. So this here is everything that exists in the set right now. In all, there is the airfield, which is up there. That's the air traffic control and 4 of these hangars. There is the aircraft hangars, which is just 4 more of the hangars. Then you have the bunkers, and it comes with a total of 4 bunkers, 2 small, 2 medium, and 1 very large bunker. 4 mech bays, also small, medium-ish, and large, I guess. 3 vehicle hangars, which I don't have over here. They're referred to as a motor pool, and a wall set, or a damaged wall set. And we're going to take a look at each of these today, and basically see how they stack up, and what's what I think of them, and go from there. So let's get into it. Okay, starting off, we have a tripod that wants to move around. Okay, starting off, we have the airfield. Now, the airfield comes with 4 of these hangars. These are Quonset hut style hangars, reminiscent of World War II. The amount of detail, I haven't done the doors on these. The amount of detail on them is pretty good. And if you look underneath, it's pretty simple. It's this is 2 parts right here on each side, and they're identical. Then you have a styrene piece that goes over the top of it into a wooden frame, which all of this is attached to. Now, you'll notice there's like a little bit of difference in how high some of the plastic is from the styrene on the base. As you can see, come on, it had just there it goes. It's in and out of focus. Gotta love cameras. Okay, so the reason for that, when you make this, the styrene will stick out about a little under 1/4 of an inch on each side. And you just take a hobby knife and you run it right along there, and it'll cut right through the styrene and make it nice and flush. Otherwise, you'd have this little ridge. But yeah, so it's 4 of these, and then you get this right here. Now, this is the aircraft hangar, or not hangar, the air traffic control station. This is, okay, so we'll just turn it that way. For size comparison, it's a little bit more, there we go. For size comparison, here is the Battle Master from the starter box. And as you can see, it's not, this building will pretty much block line of sight for mechs. It's a pretty big building. It's a centerpiece building. One thing I will say with this, it did come with like Lexan or what's it called? Plexiglass windows for all of the windows on the building, because you can see there's tons of windows. I ran into a problem though with doing the plexiglass buildings, and here's the problem that I ran into. So when you're doing the plexiglass windows, they are large. They're large sheets. When I say large, they are the entire, like this entire square. It's fitted exactly to the size of this panel here. The problem is, as you start having other panels in there, the space that you have gets too small. Additionally, if you look right here, you can see how small this hole is, and you can see the size of the panel would have been that big. So the problem you end up having here is that, well, it just doesn't work. I mean, I know Justin got his to work. Kudos to him, but it is a lot of trimming. And if this is something that you're building, you know, once you have it on the table, you don't see what's in the building. You just see dark windows. That's not a big deal to me. I know some people will be very, they will want to get all of the plexi in there, and that's fine. The only thing I find the plexi is really required for is for the top on the ATC, where you have inside of here is a framework that all these are attached to. I did leave the backing paper on them specifically so you couldn't see through. So it just looks like blacked out, highly reflective windows. So the air traffic. Oh, one other thing I should show you. The hangers will give your average assault mech partial cover. It'll block line of sight to lights in the middle of the hangar, like right here. Going that way, and of course going that way, it'll probably block line of sight. And light mechs can kind of scooch around the corner here and get partial. One thing I did try on a couple of them, because, okay, so I know Battletech and everything, it's not real. It's not the real world, blah, 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 blah. We all know this. But you see these doors are sliding doors to slide left and right. Now, and this also influenced my color choice for the buildings. Obviously, those doors could not slide without getting stuck inside the hangar. So if you look at real world, there we go, real world aircraft hangars, generally all this, the door and everything is on the outside to allow it to move past the front of the hangar. I don't know which one looks better. Effectively, they do the exact same thing, though. So the aircraft control tower, and the four hangars, which is the area of operations airfield, runs $45. A set of four hangars on their own is $20. So that's the airfield and the hangars. Let's go ahead, and next we're going to look at the bunkers. All right, so now we're looking at the bunkers. The bunkers for the bunkers from the area of operations set, you get 5 bunkers total. You get 2 of these small ones. I'm sure Justin is probably watching and completely noticing that the windows are all missing. So you have 2 of these small ones, 2 of these larger ones. And then finally, you have this one. So before we get into the whole nuts and bolts of it, let's talk about the windows again, because this is once again something that comes up. Now, they tell you not to install them during construction if you're going to paint them, which makes sense. It's all wood. You want it to look not like wood. This is where I once again ran into an issue. So the window is cut to the exact size of this piece right here, which would not be a problem, except for, as you can see here, you have the supports, and those supports are thinner. So what happens is when I try to insert the piece into here, it just won't go, and I would have to crack it to make it work. And I really didn't want to do that, and because once you set them down on the ground, you can't see inside them anyway. I'm not too worried about that for myself. Your mileage may vary, and you may want to obviously have that. Now let's talk about the bunkers, though, as far as terrain, as far as what they're supposed to be. So you have the big one. Obviously, the big one will block line of sight to a mech. It's not a little bunker. It's a good sized bunker. Has a little helipad on the roof. You have a big old door to take like vehicles in and out, and a little door for like, I guess, Jeeps, and then a human sized door for peoples. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Then you have the two of these. These two will generally provide partial cover in most cases, as we can see by looking at our friend the Battlemaster standing behind this one. When you look at it dead on, you're looking at that. So these totally do a good job of providing partial, and these ones are once again line of sight blocking when you look at it next to the mech. As far as a smaller area blocking piece, they're great. They provide you a good amount of room to take cover behind stuff. They also make it hard, though, to use it as hard cover because of the hexagonal shape. If you're here, it's not like a square building where you have to get like... Okay, so if we look at these two like this, on this square building, you have to get up far enough to see. On the hexagonal building, a little bit past the hex, and you're seeing. So they don't provide a ton of cover, but they do provide cover. They can also be good for scenario play, obviously, in like using one of the small bunkers as a place where there's like a VIP where you have to capture them, something like that. Overall, the construction on them is solid. It's good. I like the designs. The windows just need some kind of work. If you're gonna put the windows in after assembly, there's gonna need to be some work done. What exactly that is, how to fix that, I'm not sure, but that's the only thing I ran across the entire time. The bunkers come in at $45, and you get all 5 of these. All right, next up, we have the Mech Hangers. Now, this is the Mech Hangers right here. You get 4 of them in a pack. And this is $45 as well for all 4, which puts them a little over $11 a hanger, like 11 and a quarter, I believe, which isn't bad. So you have the smallest one, which is literally just the box. You have the next smallest 2, which mirror each other in their layout. Like if you look at them, they mirror each other in how they're laid out. So essentially, essentially they're just slightly different. I see a door I need to paint, but overall they're the same, just mirrored one to the other. I guess, no, that wouldn't work right. Yeah, you can't, there's nothing you can do about trying to make them the same. They're just mirrored. It's how it works. And then finally, you have the biggest of them, which I had a couple problems with. This one right here. You can see there's a break right here. That's my fault. Um, I forgot to put the roof panel in after I'd already installed all the walls. Yeah, my fault. Otherwise, this went together splendidly. Have a slight problem with this not sitting quite right, but that's my fault, not the sets. And as far as mech height compared to the doors, yeah, it's the right height. There's definitely enough room for a Battlemaster or even an Atlas to fit inside this building. The only ones that aren't going to fit are going to be your super heavies, and that's because they are massively huge. It would require something a little bit bigger. But yeah, so, and in theory, I mean, if you look at it, this would be roughly 8 mechs, maybe 12 if they were packed in there really tight. So yeah, it makes sense as a set of hangers. And overall, like I said, the aesthetic that Justin at DRD went with is very good. And there's a lot of small parts. You'll have like each of these little things are small parts. That's a small part. That's, yeah. All of this is multiple parts. Like you can see it back here. Each of these little cross braces is its own little piece. And then these are a piece. Justin did an amazing job when he designed this of getting the amount of detail done in a way that works. And he went through some trouble to make sure like all the stuff, like these end pieces here, hide all of the little things. So you're not, you know, trying to guess at like, or trying to look at it and trying to look and not see all the little end pieces all sticking up against each other. And yeah, he did a really good job of covering all that up, and covering any gaps in the design, because obviously you're working with MDF, you're going to have some gaps. It's not going to be perfectly aligned. He did a great job with making sure all of this looks really good. So yeah, the hangers, like I said, they run $45. Decent terrain. They all of this, it's good terrain. It's I don't just want to say decent terrain because it's better than decent terrain. It's actually good terrain. And I really like what he did here because it's pretty generic. It's not like certain other things that have come along where you think they're going to be good and they're not. That happens a lot, unfortunately. But yeah. So next up, we have the motor pool. Now this is 3 buildings. Motor pool comes as 3 buildings. It runs $35. These are actually some of the hardest buildings in the entire set to assemble. And let's take a look at them real quick. So they're pretty basic. They're a lot like, they have a lot in common with the Mech Hangers. Like a lot in common. Except they have these, which can be a pain in the butt. All right, so it has these little flying overhead support thingies. Each of them have like a vehicle-sized door, and there's like a little back office part. But yeah, so this is the medium one. You also have a small one, which doesn't have either the end attachments on it. It's just that center building with one end, and it has a little door. It has a big honking door, much like what's on the end of the giant bunker. One can only assume this is for like really big vehicles. Or in theory, I guess a quad mech could walk in there. There's a few quads that could walk into this thing. Had a couple. Heck, you could even fit some light mechs in there. Anyway, I digress. I'm going off topic here. So you have that one, and then you also have the biggest of the three, which has a side building and the two end buildings. Now, as far as mech scale, once again, this will pretty much block line of sight. So the majority of this terrain is line of sight blocking terrain. And you get the three of them in the set. Now, in constructing these, I did run across one thing. These braces, I didn't do a great job trimming. I was trying to get this all put together quick enough to actually have a relevant review. So I apologize if I've missed anything. But these braces, so the way they go on, they don't like slide on from the end, which would be one of the easier ways to do it. They go over the top. I had a couple of them crack, which wasn't a big deal, but yeah, so be careful when you're putting these in. They will want to crack on you. Also, if you're putting mechs on top of this, they will stand, but obviously it gets precarious if you're that way or that way. Overall, I like these ones. I don't know if I care for this part. I think it could have been done more just like the Mech Hanger, and still had a very, it would have had a vehicle hanger feel to it. So that is those, and like I said, those, the motor pool, area of operations motor pool, runs $35. They all come together really nice. They're really pretty. Well, pretty is not the right word. They're future, I don't know. They're not grimdark. But there's one last thing that we have to grab. I'm going to scoot the camera up real quick. And we're going to grab these. All right, so this is the last set in the area of operations set. These would be the ruined walls. Now, while everything here pretty much is scaled for Battletech, okay, so it's scaled roughly, I would say roughly 6 to 10 millimeter, depending. The reason I say that is because of the height of the man doors. Those are closer to what you see on the dropship. Oh God, I forgot the name of that game. Dropship Command. I don't remember, but they made a bunch of cardstock terrain. These buildings, the doors and windows scale closer to that, which is 10 millimeter. This piece right here comes with your main wall section. It also comes with two smaller wall sections as well. What can I say about this? Well, this, I believe... Oh, I did not paint that part yet. Oh, okay. So I've been painting it all metal. I totally didn't do this. Yeah. Figures, right? I would forget to paint that before the review. Anyway, going on. I still need to finish doing stuff to these. But this terrain set. Okay, so this comes in at $35. $35 for ruined walls. Meh, okay. They're more scenic than anything. Like, they're not a hanger. They're not a, it's just something to block line of sight. This will block line of sight to a super heavy. That is definitely tall enough to block line of sight to a super heavy. The other thing, which I'll set these back here, this set is roughly scale agnostic. Now, when I say that, like, everything else has human-sized doors on it. It has, it's the details on the buildings lend themselves to being the scale that they are. This right here, not only would this be usable for BattleTech, but I could see this being usable for stuff like War Machine, Warhammer 40K, 30K, if anybody still plays that. I have no idea. Shoot, I just forgot. Conflict 47. Like if you're doing like some kind of ruined fortress thing that somebody built and you're fighting over the ruins of it, these would work perfect. Basically, for 28 millimeter and for anything smaller, these will work perfectly. At our scale, obviously, that door is sized to let a mech through. All the other scales, that would be like Space Marine or infantry, you could get, and maybe even small vehicle like a Jeep. But yeah, so this part is actually scaled in a way, or designed in a way, that the scale is not it's not hard locked in on this. So you have a few different. This piece of terrain has a few different uses. One thing I would suggest to Justin, if he plans on doing other wall sets, is to do a smaller ruined wall set, roughly the height of like this. Excuse me, roughly the height of like this building right here, which would allow for, say, like basically mech height walls, because everybody needs that. One other thing I wanted to mention, I know that somebody's probably going to say something about this. The color of my hangers. Let me grab one. All right, so I went with a cream color, as you'll notice. It's not tan, it's not gray, it's cream. All right, so in case anybody's just wondering, Carrie, why the hell did you paint your hangers cream colored? Well, that would come from living near military bases and being around them. If you ever look at least out here on the East Coast, if you go to like a Navy base or an Air Force base or any of those, the hangars, for some reason, they like to use this cream color. It doesn't blend in with anything. It doesn't do anything special. It is literally like yellowish cream color. But for some reason, the military likes this color for aircraft hangars. And I, after almost knocking over my tripod, I decided, why not go with this? Why not use that color scheme? So, yeah, everything in the set. Of course, I don't have a way to do math directly in front of me. Do I have a pen? I don't want to pause. I don't know why I don't want to pause, but I don't want to pause. I just don't like doing that. All right, so 45, 20. Right, so all right, if my math is right, everything in the set comes out to $225, and that is for everything. Now, to give you some perspective, I'm going to turn this a little bit so I can get there. So for some perspective, this is a 3 foot by 3 foot table. This is my coffee table with a green thing over it. Old 70s coffee table. Not my aesthetic. I want to replace this with a kidney bean. But anyway, so right here, less than $300 of terrain will totally, let's make this stop doing that. There we go. $225 in terrain plus shipping, which I think my shipping on this because I did pay shipping on it. I want to pay shipping was like $19 or $15. It wasn't that much. I mean, it's all flat packed. It all comes to you flat packed. It's beautiful. It's absolutely amazing when you start putting it all together. One thing I will say, I forgot to mention, when you put this together, all right, you have this and this are two separate door pieces. And they are on the outside of the, how do I explain this? All right, so this part is laser cut into the wall, okay? And then this trim piece and this trim piece, well, I think it's all one trim piece, it makes it so this looks like it's recessed in the wall, which is actually quite slick. But if you look underneath, they actually sit, yeah. And there's a gap right here. Now, when you're pressing stuff on here, obviously this is going to flex a little bit, and I also wanted to make sure it would not flex in the future. So there's a small piece that you can't really see. I don't have anything thin enough to stick in there. Actually, yes, I do. So right here, I can poke it. You can see there's a piece of MDF. This is not part of the directions, but this is a suggestion. When you assemble this, you punch it out, the part that's inside this, well, this right here, contains a square with the punch outs for these. Save one of those squares, and when you go to assemble the front and back walls, you glue it behind one of the doors. So now I can press here all day. This wall will not flex, it will not bend. It is perfectly in place. There's nothing right there, but there's something there. So it's just a little trick that I figured out. But yeah, so that is everything about this train set. I really think it is awesome. And if you want something that looks pretty modern, it's easy to assemble, easy to store. I mean, it's not resin, it's not going to chip or anything like that. Obviously the MDF takes paint really well. I would highly recommend this set. So with all of that, I do want to thank Death Ray Designs and Justin for sending all the terrain over so we could take a look at it, see what it's like, and give an honest review. Also, I wanted to thank our sponsor. Give me a second. Here we go. I wanted to thank our sponsor, Fortress Miniatures and Games. I'm not good at all the fancy graphics, and I'm not good at post production stuff. But figured I could grab that, and you can see who our sponsor is: Fortress Miniatures and Games. Awesome company. I actually have some Hanson's Rough Riders I have to review from them, as well as this thing's metal cousin. Getting a review of this Battlemaster, which you cannot get in plastic, and also of the Regent, which they have been kind enough to help us get as well. And yeah, you can also buy the Death Ray Designs terrain through Fortress Miniatures and Games if you want to go that route. I don't have the website in front of me, so I don't know if there's a discount on it, like what they do with Catalyst stuff and stuff like that. But I highly recommend them. Check them out. They are wonderful. It's a wonderful store. They have a lot of stuff. They have like virtual world patches. They have challenge coins. They have all sorts of things. Go ahead and check them out. They are a great BattleTech resource. And tell them that Carrie sent you. So yeah, that's it for this episode, or this video. It's not the episode. If you like what we're doing here, excuse the dog, if you like what we're doing here, if you want to help us do more stuff like this, go to patreon.com/unicorn company, sign up. It's, there's anything from a few bucks a month all the way up to, like, I want to say 20. check it out. I try to get custom Alpha Strike cards out. We send out all sorts of little goodies, and I am trying to get more stuff done every day for the podcast for that. And I don't know what else to say. But yeah, so check out check that out. Also check out Fortress Miniatures Game. Check out Death Ray Designs. Awesome people there that helped us with this and helped to show you what they just put out. So y'all have a good night, good day, good evening, good whatever it is where you are at right now. This is Carrie signing off.
I'm gonna find my meaning, I can make a change. I wanna play the game. You wanna sink or swim? I'm gonna go